Welcome to Squirrels of Doom, Drinking with Geeks. I'm Roz.
I'm Matt, and this week we're doing another
Dungeons and Flagons.
What do you have for us this week, Matt?
Well, this week we have Arcus Pilsener from Driftwood Brewery in Victoria, BC. If you haven't tried Driftwood before, if you can get it in your area, definitely give them a try. They're a great BC brewery, one of the classic craft breweries of BC. And this is our first time trying the Arcus Pilsener that I can remember. I mean, I might have had it briefly. I've been there and done like a tasting.
Or tried it with friends.
You
If
know,
they brought it
had a
out.
flight. But this is our first time sitting and really like doing a dedicated tasting of the Pilsner.
And thinking about it in terms of D&D.
Yes, which is, of course, the most important thing to consider when you're picking beer, is how well is this going to work in your games night?
Yeah, I mean, how many times have we been on our way to a session or doing something, and then we're like, oh, we need beer, stat, and it needs to be D&D themed.
All right.
Or.
So let's get this open
Okay, go.
and get to drinking.
I mean, we got a couple categories that we're going to talk about through the course of this.
Which, you know, if you watched our previous Dungeons and Flagons with the Fuggles and Warlock Icarus, we were winging it a little bit on what the categories are. We've formalized it a little more. They're the same
We
categories.
made a spreadsheet, so it's a little more fun.
Now there are spreadsheets to go with this, and so we can keep track of all of these.
Data is going to be mined.
Yeah, maybe someday we'll do some data analysis or something. I don't know. I don't even know what we would do with that.
Well,
so
we're going to make pie charts.
more importantly,
Arcus.
drinking.
Yes. I can already smell it.
Pour straight down in there. Get lots of head, you know, carbonate it a little bit.
It smells like beer. It's really light.
Well, it's a Pilsner. It should be. I gotta give this a minute to settle.
Let's talk a little bit about this color, though. Ooh. Really pretty. Golden.
Yep, classic color for Pilsner. It's exactly what you would expect. Very pale yellow.
It's probably the color of, you know, gemstones. Find in a dragon lair.
And so the Arcus, this is a, I think, Northern German style Pilsner. According to Driftwood's website, they're using, I think, some German hops and Canadian malt for this. It smells fantastic, really crisp. There's a little bit of fruitiness, but not a ton. Sip time. Salut.
Oh, man. That's really good.
Yep.
This will be a really rewarding sip after a great roll.
Yeah, I think this is pretty good. It's a Pilsner, so if you're not into Pilsners, like if you find them too light, this is not gonna change your mind. It's very light. I know that some of our beer snob friends would say flavorless because it's a Pilsner and all Pilsners are flavorless. I don't think that's necessarily true, but it's definitely not a flavor bomb.
And it's not high bitter. So if that's something that you like, this is great for you.
Yes.
And if it's something that you're not too into because you prefer to ratchet up those IBU, then it's not going to be your favorite.
Yeah, I think this is a great afternoon beer. And now let's talk about it with regards to being a game night beer.
First of all, if you pick up this bottle, it is gosh darn beautiful. And if you play a ranger, you might just want to peel this art right off of here.
Yeah,
Look at
we've got
this.
a great archer on the cover here. Arcus being Latin apparently for bow or arch, or some other, it sort of means bow. So you see Arcus used a lot with archery. There are Arcus archery clubs and whatnot. But Driftwood is well known for always having fantastic bottle art. And so you'll probably notice as we go through, Driftwood is going to come up a lot in Dungeons and Flagons. We use it for game night.
The art's
pretty
amazing.
frequently.
Yeah.
Some of them are pretty scary labels. It's pretty awesome.
I think she's going to have a really low armor class, though. She has no shoes on.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe she's just
She's
magic.
also just wearing a
mage
dress. So this is another one that's a little more like Greek mythology kind of giving the impression of, similar to like the Icarus. So label art, what out of 5, what do we want to give it?
I think it's a 3.5, 4, somewhere in there.
Yeah, I think it's a really beautiful label. The name, it all conjures up images of at least
High fantasy.
semi-medieval to high fantasy, even if it's not explicitly like a fantasy or label. So I'd say like a 4, because that's fantastic label design.
Look at those colors pop too. That like red, yellow, gold.
Yeah.
It's a sunset. It's very dramatic.
Yeah.
I love it. Okay, 4 out of 5. Good job.
For label art. Puntastic name. The name is not puntastic. Arcus, it definitely...
I mean, it's going for the right feel that gets us into our world. Not that all D&D world obviously has to be high fantasy. Maybe you're playing a steampunk game or a sci-fi game. Who knows? But this one, I think, it's got a pretty classic feel, but it doesn't quite hit it quite on the nose. Like, maybe... And it's not a pun. Not that everything is.
Yeah, it's just, a nice Latin term for archery, which, of course, relates to rangers.
A little
and
ho-hum, but still
fighters,
in our zone.
But it's not great. So
So
I would only give it
2.5? 3?
0.5, 3. Let's say 3 on the generous side. It's a generous 3.
It's Latin.
Or should we give it a 2.5? Like, we don't want to start out with giving everything too high of ratings and then, like, get ourselves into a corner.
Fair enough. The name, if someone said to me, I'm bringing Arcus, I'd be like, that's a sweet character name. Cool.
Totally. All right. 2.5 for Puntastic name. Our third category is sessionability, and this is where something like a Pilsner really shines.
Oh, yeah.
This is 5% alcohol, I believe. Yes. So that is a super friendly amount. It's not, you're going to get a good buzz going, but you're not going to be tanked before the end of games night.
You could ride this the whole way through the dungeon. It's not like the night is over.
Yeah. There's a few that have a great name. Often we find, actually, the ones that have the best names in art tend to not be the most sessionable, which we'll come across.
You can have one of these to yourself.
Finally, most importantly, our last criterion, quality. We didn't actually give a score for sessionability, did we?
No.
4, I would say. 4.5, maybe? I mean, there are more, like, actual session beers, like ISAs and stuff that are more in the 4% alcohol range, so you could crush them all afternoon.
But it's not just about the percent alcohol by volume, right? Like, this is it's also about just delicious flavor, all around kind of like sessionable. I would give us a 4.5 myself.
All right,
If you're comfortable
4.5
with...
sessionability. And quality, I would say this is a very high quality Pilsner. I've had Pilsners that are better, that I think are more flavorful. Because I don't agree that like all Pilsners are by default bad, like, one of our friends believes.
We don't want to name names, but he might play a sorcerer.
Yeah.
So.
But, I definitely do find them on the blander side compared to like an ale. But this is really nice. I would give it a 4 out of 5
I think
for quality.
Solid 4. Great job, Driftwood.
Yeah. Anything else that you want to talk about for Arcus before we wrap up this edition of Dungeons and Flagons?
No, I don't think so. Other than that, I just want to say I'm really sorry as the DM for our first ranger who died. So, I'm sorry, Margaret.
Yeah. Her ranger did not last very long.
Yeah.
It was unfortunate.
So, to all the other rangers out there, please enjoy an Arcus. It's great.
Cheers to the internet.